for calling on me. Thank you for knowing that.
Good morning, all. Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show for Effed-up Friday. Lawrence, I'm trying to have a clean mouth here, but I don't know that YouTube knows what we're saying when we're coming on, and we should just say
Right.
Effed-up
Apparently, the YouTube
Friday.
rules are within the first 5 minutes you're not supposed to swear. Okay.
Oh, there, I did. I just did. I just did.
I
No, you
didn't
Gosh
said
hear
darn it
effed up.
all.
You said effed.
it. Yeah, you
No,
said
but
F.
then I sort of just muttered it under my
Oh,
breath.
well.
Oh, hopefully they didn't notice. It is so good to see you both. I am Dana Dubois,
I'm Lawrence Winterman.
and we are joined here by our official legal correspondents, Anne P. Mitchell, Esquire. Thank you for joining us today.
Always
And
a pleasure.
we love having you on the show. And this was a very spontaneous change. For those of you tuning in who are surprised that this does not look like Zev Shalev, this is not Zev. We know that we had promoted he would be on the show today, and he was scheduled to appear. He unfortunately had a conflict, and let us know
A
that.
legit conflict. He's got a broken
Yes.
finger,
I
and he
was
had to
just
go
Yes.
going
have
to
it
say,
like
I
Okay.
mean,
reset.
I was debating how much to reveal, but if he's being
he's
transparent
already
about
said
Oh,
it.
I think
yeah,
I think he's
yeah,
being
he did.
transparent. I hope I didn't reveal something. Oops.
No.
I
I
don't
know
think so.
he's because I was on a live with him and he said it and he showed it.
Yes.
So, um,
Ooh.
yeah,
Mm.
and so everyone who was expecting Zev, I am so sorry that it's me that you got, but I will
We are
tell you
not
that I
sorry.
have got.
We love Zev, but we love Anne too. So
Oh
Okay,
my gosh. No
yeah.
one is ever sorry to see your smiling face, and,
Well,
and us especially. So we're so grateful that you jumped, there it is delightful to have someone who you can contact late on a Thursday night and say, "What are you doing tomorrow morning?" And we'll just be like, "Oh hell yeah, I'll
and
be there."
and she's so pathetic that she says, "I am doing nothing," so I'll be
That
there.
is that
not
is
pathetic.
not pathetic in the slightest. It is delightful to have you here, and I it is effed up Friday, which means it is our weekly news rundown slash game competition, and we know from past experience that you are a formidable opponent,
Yes.
and you actually had texted us not too long ago, and you said, let me know if you have any openings because I have a story I want to share. And I'm curious if that's the one that you're bringing today.
It is, and let me just tell you. So yeah, I came across this thing in the files, and I was like, man, that is so fucked up. See, I even said it because that's how much it is, right? And
Oh,
but then that was I think 2 weeks ago or more than a week ago.
oh,
And so to be honest with you, I had to go back and refresh my memory because I was like, oh my God, I hope I can remember what it is. But I did. I found it and it really is still just as messed up. So
Wow.
I have no doubt about that. And I do want to do a little shout out. Thank you to Karen for doing an awesome job moderating in the chat. I see you in there. And if we can ask everyone in the chat to smash that heart button. I'm working on becoming an influencer. Smash that heart button. That does signal to the Substack gods that this is a fascinating show that everybody should watch. At least anecdotally, that is what we believe. So thank you. I see all of those hearts coming up. Let's get everyone we can in here because we know, as per always, living in this effed up timeline, we have so much to talk about today.
We do. We do.
And should
Um,
we jump right in, Lawrence? Because we,
I want to take a minute and talk
yeah,
about my article that I
I
published
had
the
a
other day.
yeah,
feeling that
please
you
do.
might.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for folks who don't know, I on my own personal Substack, I published an article on Wednesday. I think that uh, I chose the title to be challenging. It
Mhm.
was one of those articles, and I think you're both writers. You both understand this. You know how sometimes you're writing something, and the idea for the title for it comes to mind, and you're like, "Oh God,
That's
I
it.
am not sure that I want to use that as the title." And the more you think about it, the more you're like, "That has to be the
It
title."
has to be.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And sometimes for me, Lawrence, it's something that I'm like, that is, no one's going to click that, but I'm like, that's the title. You had the opposite problem, I think. This is a very one word title. It's very short, but one of the
yeah,
most incendiary words you could say right now.
I mean, right. Which is why when it kind of popped into my head is like, oh God, I think that has to be the title.
Yeah.
It, I really honestly thought, I am not sure that I want to say that because it is such an incendiary word. And the word, if you don't know, friends, is Zionist. And
I have
in
the
the
link here.
essay,
I'm grabbing it.
I am I am essentially applying it to myself, which is not a thing that I ever thought I would do. I'm a 56-year-old gay Jewish American man who has a very, very complicated relationship with Judaism and an even more complicated relationship with Israel. And I'm the last person that I would expect to kind of be caught holding a sign that says Zionist. But because of the way that word has come to be twisted, so that now it is
Yes.
used as an epithet and a
Yes.
pejorative,
Yes.
um, and in its truest and original conception, the term really just meant somebody who believes that there should be a Jewish homeland, a nation of Israel. I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, like I'm the guy left holding the sign that says Zionist because the one thing, like, Gaza is a genocide. I've gone further and called Gaza a Holocaust. I hate Benjamin Netanyahu. I've hated him since right after Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated and he started popping up on American cable shows back when he was the defense
Yeah.
minister. I've always thought he was evil. I fucking hate the guy. I think everything that the Israeli government is currently doing is to keep Benjamin Netanyahu out of jail and to further exploit their crazy, crazy right wing dreams of creating greater Israel, which is Nazism reborn in wearing a Jewish face, right? Like I've said all of these things out loud
Yep.
using my real name, and yet somehow I'm standing
Yep.
here saying, but if you're going to take the word Zionist away and turn it into an epithet, I believe that Israel deserves to exist. I believe that Palestine deserves to exist.
Yeah.
Like, and that's it.
Yeah, the thing is that people pervert words into something that they were never intended. Like you were using it in its actual original sense.
Right,
Yep.
And in this current climate on social media, words mean whatever the person who wants to take offense says they mean.
right,
Yeah. And it's not just that it's not just an epithet. It's become synonymous with Jew. It is a way to disparage Jews worldwide.
right.
It is
Yes.
anti-Semitic. It is not when you're using the literal sense, but it's simply become Zio has just become. It's just another kike. It's I think I'm allowed to say that because I'm Jewish. It's just
Right.
another derogatory. It's another slur at this point.
And
And yeah, go
sorry,
on.
one of the observations that I've made previously is no one has done more to harm the
Yes.
Jews of the world than Benjamin Netanyahu
Yes,
and his
absolutely.
policies,
Well,
right?
and maybe Trump.
And Trump, right? The two of them together.
Yeah.
While saying that they are doing it for Jews, they have actually been the people who have harmed Jews around the world most.
No
And,
question.
uh, you know, if we look at the way this is starting to shape up, like I like Zoran Mamdani. I believe in the democratic socialist message. I want Mamdani to succeed as mayor of New York. I like Brad Lander. I don't dislike most of the people who won the primaries in New York City. I'm glad that we're having generational change. But there are people who are running under that banner and are using the word Zionist, and they mean it as an epithet, and they are also celebrating Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. If you want to admit that Netanyahu is a terrorist, basically perpetrating, regime of terror on the Palestinian people, you can't then
Yeah.
celebrate Hamas, which is literally a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
And so I see this fraction beginning to develop in the Democratic Party. And my prediction here is that this is going to be like we are looking the strongest we have been in years. And now this is going to be the way that we snatch defeat from the jaws of victory because
Oh
suddenly
my
there's going to be
gosh.
a purity test. And if the
Yep.
purity
Yes.
test is, do you believe that Israel still has a right to exist? Then I think you are absolutely fucked and you are doing the Republicans' work for them, and we are about to rip ourselves to shreds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, have you heard about the Republicans' secret weapon? It's the Democrats.
Right?
Whoa,
Right?
Right.
whoa. Oh, there.
Never
Sorry.
has it
That's
been
right. I did
truer.
this. I just turned to
I was
myself
say,
because I
whoa.
realized I needed to reorient. My head was a different size than yours. I know. Was that weird?
It's like you're floating in space.
Right. But now I'm
Um,
good. Now
Do
well,
now I'm
yeah.
happy.
you realize?
Oh,
Here's
I
the
love that
thing.
song.
Me too. So that,
The people that are saying this, I mean,
Mhm.
largely, especially on social media,
Yeah.
people are people they don't read stuff. They just parrot stuff. I mean, not everyone. Certainly our followers do not fit this mold. We have
Right.
smart, critically thinking followers, but the vast majority of people out there on the
Yeah.
internet who are saying these things, they let me just put it this way, and I may lose some followers when I say this. I hope I don't. But it's really important to understand that half of the people out there, half of the population, is of below average intelligence. Now, think about that
That's
before
just
you
math.
yell at me.
That's just math.
Mathematically, it's true. It's fact.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. But here's the thing. I don't even, I appreciate that frame, Anne, but like, all I'm saying is just listen, right? Like, just understand that we are talking about the most complicated region on the planet. It has stymied the brightest minds for 100 years. And if
Oh,
you
more.
think you
Yeah.
can, and I don't want to be ageist in any way. I'm just noticing that the people who tend to be yelling loudest about this tend to be the youngest. I remember being young and idealistic. I do.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that this is a
It
situation
was a
in
hundred
very
years
much
ago.
particular. What'd you say?
It was like 100 years ago,
Right,
but
a
I
hundred years
remember.
ago. I was young and innocent 100 years ago.
And so pretty.
Right, I was
You were
so
so
pretty.
pretty, Lawrence.
Yeah. Uh, I'm just saying, like, this is a situation where we've got to use nuance. We must see the shades of gray because there isn't this is not a Gordian knot. We can't Alexander this and break out our sword and cut the Gordian knot and say that we have fixed a thing that has been unfixable for 100 years.
Yeah.
We must think about this deeply, and I'm worried that in the rush to judgment in the Democratic Party, we are going to fracture because I can already
Mm.
see a scenario at the end of the essay. I paint a scenario where the 2028 Democratic nominee, because we're going to nominate somebody's going to make it through that process, and they are going to be required to stand up at the convention, and they are going to be required to what? Denounce Israel and denounce Netanyahu and call it a genocide and appeal to Jewish Americans and not alienate. Like that person is going to
Yes.
have to thread a needle that is so microscopically small it might not fucking exist.
I
And
think we've
and
already seen it. It didn't, right, Lawrence? And as we were in a text conversation where it was like, I fear this is going to undo the Democrats. I'm like, I think it already has.
it
See
is
2024. I
yeah,
mean,
it is already happening. And
Hey, but
in the article I cite that, right? In 2024,
yeah,
there was this whole uncommitted delegation that went to, 700,000 people voted uncommitted. There were actual uncommitted delegates that went. And the DNC was trying to work with them to say, like, you can have a speaker. They said, we want more than one speaker. Like, it was a thing. And no one spoke from the uncommitted delegation because everyone has a fucking ego on both sides. I'm literally not laying that at the hands of uncommitted. I'm saying the DNC and Kamala's campaign should absolutely have made space. And the result was we lost, right? And in some places we again lost by thin enough margins that if we had been fully united, we might not have lost. And I can absolutely see that happening in 2026. As we get to the midterms, I can really see it happening in 2028. And so I just think we all need to. Oh my God, Ben Ulancey's here. Hey, Ben, I was just reading some of your stuff. Ben, we need to have you back on the show sometime soon because I want to talk to you about Disclosure Day and some of the other great pieces of art that have come out recently. Um,
Hey Ben.
um, so my point is, I think we are about to really, as the Democratic Party, we are about to fuck ourselves over because we are looking for purity in a place and in a moment where there isn't a lot of purity. And if even somebody like me, who says it's a genocide, who says that Netanyahu is a criminal, and that his policies in Israel right now are not dissimilar from the Nazi
Mhm.
Party, and that the people living in the West Bank are absolutely living under an apartheid state, and the rest of the
Yeah.
Arabs and Palestinians living in Israel are living under structural apartheid. Like, for God's sake, you guys, I'm on your side. Like, the
Right.
only thing we disagree on is I believe that no country on earth should have its existence taken away because they fucked up. If we're going to do that, then the United States should go first. We genocided 10 million or more Native Americans. We enslaved millions of people for like
We're doing
100, 200 years.
Okay, wait, we're doing
we're
something
doing
very
it now.
similar right now.
Right,
Yeah.
like we're fucking shit up right now. If the rule is that every time a nation commits an atrocity, they cease to exist, by Germany, by Japan, by England,
By
by a
us.
third of the African continent, like I'm sorry, like there's no purity in the world around that.
Right. Um, I loved your essay, Lawrence. I mean, I read it immediately, and I think it was immediately like, wow, we need to go on air and talk about this immediately. Like, this needs to get in front of a lot of people. I think I did a very superficial note because I just wanted to get it up quickly, but I was like, this is very, very long and very, very important. Read every word.
Yeah.
I still stand by it. It's we are dot connectors, and we are nuanced thinkers and writers. And we are living in a world that is sorely lacking in both.
Yeah.
And I
Amen.
agree with you. And I know we've talked about this with Julie and Michelle on Saturdays for Sanity. Like, I, I fear that Israel and anti-Semitism in general, like it will be the undoing of the election that we like talk about snatching, what's the expression?
Right,
Snatching
snatching defeat from the
defeat from
jaws of
the,
victory.
yeah, it's just, it's right there, you guys.
Right. and
The
and
numbers are all in our favor, but you all believe too that this is a conscious effort. This is not something that's just evolving from the zeitgeist.
I
The,
firmly believe, and I think
yeah.
Julie would agree, that a piece of this is Russians weaponizing disinformation
Uh-huh.
to once again fuck up America
Oh, has
and
this
pit us.
happened before? Has this
Right,
happened
yes,
before?
and
Tell me more.
pit us against each other, right?
Huh?
And Kat, BB is the modern day Hitler. I absolutely agree, 100%. I don't know if Trump or BB wins in the fight for that crown. I think they could probably share it. Except, haha, have you ever met two people less likely to share anything, including being the worst person who ever lived? Um,
Oh,
so
Lawrence.
I I think it's too important to not talk about. And I knew that I was going to put myself out there as a lightning rod, and and that's okay. Um,
Lawrence, have you gotten, like, I haven't had a chance to wade through all the comments. I can see that this story is getting quite a bit of traction. Um, how much of the vibe in your comment section is super negative?
Not as much as you would think. A lot of the
Good.
comments have been really
Good.
supportive. I
Good.
I do see that there's starting to be some negative comments, which I think means, Dana, like your theory of some articles just jump the red-blue wall in Substack.
Yep.
And so I think this is starting to happen with this article, but that's okay. I mean,
That's good. That means it
Yeah.
I'm
might
trying to
skyrocket.
reply to most good
Mm.
faith comments in there. So
This is the sort of story, Lawrence, that if you do indeed hop the wall and you get thousands of likes, like, you should have the New York Times contacting you about this. Like, this is a really beautifully written story, beautifully conceived story that I haven't heard anyone else saying. And that's a rare
How
thing to say these days, where it's like, this is unique. And it's a point of view that really needs to be heard. Go ahead, Anne.
I was going to say, why wait for the Times to contact you? Just reach out to them with a letter to the editor. Send it.
Yeah. That's your to do list, Lawrence.
Yeah.
You should.
I
And
will
also,
actually. I will. I've
yeah,
reached out to a couple other contacts that I've gotten said like, "Hey, I'm proud of this one, and I think it's really timely."
yeah,
And again, like I know that it's coming out the days after the slate, the DSA slate one in New York, and I think some people are reading it as a response to that. It is a response to the idea that even the national media is starting to frame the are the Democrats about to rip themselves to shreds over democratic socialism, and I think it's deeper, right? I think it's are we about to rip ourselves to shreds over Israel and Netanyahu and Gaza being a genocide and
yeah.
the same thing.
Well, let me just point out that, Trump tried really hard to keep that from happening by, simply arresting the people who were talking about what was going on in Gaza. So, he did his part.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Okay, we should
we
jump into Fucked Up Friday, but I really
we
appreciate
absolutely
you giving
should.
me the chance to talk about that.
Oh, I've been dying to talk to you about it live since you published it. And it's a funny tribute to our lives that we were like, what about now? No, we can't do it now. Well, what about this time? No, 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 we can't do it then. And it was like, we're just going to talk Friday
I know,
morning.
and a public apology to Dana. I had 30 minutes before I knew she was going to go live, and I was like, I can read this in 30 minutes. And chat, I could not. It took me 45, and so I stepped on the
Yes.
first like 12 minutes of her regularly
Oh,
scheduled thing. I'm very sorry, Dana.
it's
I
okay.
swear I was trying to read it in a timely fashion,
It's
and I just
totally fine. It was my I Write Out Loud weekly, public live. It was very funny because I host that at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, East Coast time. Usually, sometimes it moves to Thursday. But everyone, as they were joining, was like, Lawrence is live right now. I'm like, I know he is, that bastard. I'm kidding. And then they were like, I think Lynette was like, I have you on my laptop and Lawrence on my
I
phone.
know she
Like,
said that.
people
Yeah.
were so sweet, and they
I
were
did
like,
at the end. I was literally like, "Okay, I'm done. Everyone, go watch Dana.
I know,
Tell
because
her I'm
everyone
sorry."
showed up and said so much thank you all for doing that. Like, my audience size suddenly like doubled. So thank you for doing that, Lawrence. I am glad you got on right away and read it, and I wish you every success with the story. It's super important and very fitting for today, because that situation is fucked up, not in a news cycle way, but in a like millennia sort of way
Hmm.
that's becoming a very acute problem right now. And as two very agnostic or maybe troubled relationship to Judaism sort of people, it
Yeah.
is particularly confounding. And your point of view is, it's rare that I say something is unique online, but that story is unique. And I'm not going to call it very unique, because that is poor grammar and a pet peeve. And with all that said, it is Friday, which means it's Fucked Up Friday. That is not the story that Lawrence was pitching. That was simply us talking about an essay he wrote. We have each prepared 3 stories for that weekly competition. Now, I think a lot of folks in the chat already know what this is, but Lawrence, in case they don't, would you like to explain the game show that no one wins?
Welcome to Fucked Up
Thank
Friday at the Daily Whatever Show, featuring special guest Ann P. Mitchell, Esquire.
you.
Here are the rules. Each of the three of us has picked a story that we think is the worst story for the entire week, the most fucked up. And we are here to sell you, to pitch you on the idea that our story is the most fucked up. So each of us in turn will tell you our story. We will tell you why it's the most fucked up news story of the week. And then at the end of that, you, the chat, will vote by typing in the name of the person who you think has the worst story. And whoever wins gets the joy,
On. The
Maybe
honor?
ignominy. I've never known how to say that word right. I can read it. The
It's okay.
reverse glory, I suppose, of having the
Yes.
worst, most fucked up news story of the week. It's the game show that nobody wins, even the winner.
So was
Exactly.
that Tycho in the background having a big opinion about Fucked Up Friday?
Oh
That,
yeah, yeah. No,
that was
Tycho was
very loud,
very
Lawrence.
right. He was like, "He's Papa. You're yelling. Stop
He wants to
yelling."
participate.
I was like, I thought it was in the house, and I was like, what is that noise? And then
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, that's Tycho.
That's
it's Tycho.
And
awesome. Yeah.
that's Kira, who's like, I don't know if you picked the most fucked up one. I don't know if you've been losing lately, Mom. Where is she? There she is.
And Lily
Look at
doesn't even care. She's just sleeping.
look at how cute she is, you guys.
She's adorable.
Aw,
She's very poorly trained, but can we have a moment to admire how cute my
Aw,
dog is? I
she
mean,
really is.
I
she's
love
so
her to
cute. She's
pieces.
so
She
pretty.
is probably the cutest dog on the West Coast because
Did you
Lily's
hear
the
that?
cutest. We have to
Yeah,
Yeah,
divide it
Lily
by
is the
of
cutest on
course.
the
zones.
East Coast.
In
Yeah,
well, no, in the
You're
mid.
in the Midwest, right?
Where is
Yeah,
Colorado? I never know whether it's like it's west, it's
right.
Midwest, it's
Mountain
like
West. Don't isn't
yeah,
that what we
Mountain
call it?
West. Yeah,
The
there we go.
Mountain
Yeah,
West.
yeah, there we go.
right, right. So Anne, you know this because you have been part of this competition before.
Yes.
But this is guest's choice in terms of where you would like to go. Would you like to be first? Would you like to go second? Would you like to go third?
Oh, golly, I think I'd like to go last.
I had
Ooh,
a feeling you might say that I was like, I think Anne should probably go last on this one.
Yeah.
Lawrence, my dear friend, would you like
second.
to go? You want to go second? Okay, fine. I will go first. Actually, I sent the link to Karen, so I'm not even going to go hunting down the link. Um, my fucked up news story. This might not be the most fucked up thing that happened in the news this week. I'm still completely enamored or fascinated with the whole reflecting pool story that I talked about last week. But I'm horrified that they arrested like an Olympian for touching water
Right.
because they're like vandals because they're trying to cover that up. That's not the story I'm pitching, but I do need to at least eke it in for the history books of like, oh, are we trying to get around all of the shoddy workmanship by just calling it vandalism? Because anyone with half a brain who's seen a swimming pool knows that this is not vandalism. This is
Yeah.
just a poorly treated body of man-made water.
Yep.
So my
Those damn
story,
algae blooms, they're such vandals.
right, right, that no bid contract thing. Who would have thought we
Oh,
would get someone who wasn't competent to do a last minute no bid contract? Okay, so this story, I'm going to give the caveat since I'm setting this up. You know how there'll be like feel good stories in the news, but they're really like dystopian as fuck. Like, child has lemonade stand to help parent with leukemia pay for
right.
treatment. And you're like, dude, that's not a feel good story. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Right. Right.
That's the flavor of this. So the headline, there's a lot of good in this headline. Connecticut makes funds available for out of state reproductive gender affirming care amid pushback. So this is just going into my whole point of view I have held since for a while now that I think Connecticut is like a little utopia. I have never been, but I feel like Connecticut, like Washington State, where I live, is one of the few places in the US still doing things right. So the premise here, this just dropped today, I think, or yesterday. Let me look here at the date, June 25th. So yesterday. Connecticut is making private funds available to individuals and families to travel to Connecticut to obtain reproductive or gender affirming health care that their home state bans or restricts. So I do first, I just sorry, I just got brighter. I turned on my monitor, so I don't have to look down. First of all, fuck yeah, Connecticut. Like,
Yay, Connecticut.
yay, Connecticut. This is not the fucked up part. I'm not here being like, this is a disaster that they are doing. They're killing babies. Like, we're going to get to. Hold that thought. So it's called the Safe Harbor Fund. It is state authorized, privately supported, and it will start accepting applications on July 1st from nonprofits, community-based providers, or other eligible groups to financially assist patients seeking legally protected reproductive or gender affirming care in Connecticut. It is currently the only such funding source in the US. So this is a blue state doing really good work. The Board of Trustees just accepted its first $25,000 private donation to this fund from the Fairfield-based Leonard Litz LGBTQ Plus Foundation. And they are in discussion for more donors, one of which is expected to match $25,000. All of this is lovely. Love this. But of course, like there are all these nice quotes from the folks in charge, but a top Republican legislator and spokesman for the state's Catholic bishops said the announcement was contrived to politically benefit Lamont in the upcoming Democratic gubernatorial primary against Republican Josh Elliott on the 11th. I just don't get that politics is so bad for the governor that he has to stoop to this level. He said at this Catholic conference, and it's shameful and misguided. And we have this is the part that is making it the most fucked up. We have more people with healthcare needs that are poor and indigent that need our attention than creating this little abortion trust account for out-of-state people who want to take human life, Healy said. This is Chris Healy, executive director of the Connecticut Catholic Public Affairs Conference. On gender affirming care, my Lord, have they not paid attention to anything that's going on in the real world and in the medical world about these procedures?
Right.
This is
and
the
then
fucked
he
up.
said, as a Republican, I don't care about anybody's health. I'm not saying anyone should get any funding.
I'm writing an essay now that I've been working on behind the scenes for a few weeks, but I've been actively writing it this week. Lawrence, you'll be happy to know this because I know we've talked about it. And the working title that will likely stick, a la Zionist, is the United States hates women. That was the way it came to my mind of like, we're just proving again and again how much we hate women. And the theme that keeps running through it is how often we are told we are being hysterical, a word that has very feminine origins around hysterectomy.
Mm-hmm.
We are told we are being hysterical and we are talked down to, and our needs are belittled as niche. What did he call here? That little abortion fund? Can I just want to not misquote this. This little abortion trust account.
Right.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And also
Fuck
the
you.
whole, do you not care about anything in the real world?
In the real
I
world.
think women who are struggling with a difficult pregnancy and require, specialized abortion medical care would call their experiences real world. I think so.
I would say women who are simply pregnant and don't want to be.
Right.
That is a very fucking real world problem.
Yeah.
And for you to, it's disgusting that they have to have a fund in tiny little Connecticut, because most of the states around Connecticut, I feel like, are pretty liberal. So this fund is probably funding people to fly up from the South. Lord knows where the Texans and the Floridians are going to start suing the providers and the people who are suddenly planning trips to Connecticut to go get these abortions or this gender affirming care. But yeah, trans people who need gender affirming care are not niche. Women who need abortion care are not niche.
Yeah.
There needs to be someone needs to coin a term, I think, and get it going widespread.
Yeah.
That includes the word railroad. It's like
Yes.
the Underground Railroad was, now it's, so like the healthcare railroad, or because that's really what it is.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
These poor people from the South just.
The South, the Midwest, all the red states. It's interesting. I have another story in mind. I haven't started writing it, but I think I will. Living in Washington, It's like living in an alternate universe. I look at our governor, Bob Ferguson's Facebook page, and the work that he and his people are doing is remarkable. And it feels like going back in time to pre-Trump, where they just passed an executive order supporting women through menopause and perimenopause. We have protected rights in the workplace now. We have we have access to abortion care. LGBTQ folks have access to care. I'm wondering if Washington is going to set up something similar, and I would donate to it. I hope we do. But the fact that we need to start talking about a railroad for healthcare,
right,
is
in the chat,
disgusting.
I proposed the uterine railroad.
I just that's I
Oh,
chuckled, but yeah, yeah.
yes. I'm seeing a logo, like a t-shirt that has this logo on it, or
Ooh, yeah, it's like a uterus and ovaries done out of railroad tracks.
yes, that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
Or oh, a uterus and ovaries fits within the shape of a heart so beautifully.
Mm.
Yes, it does. Over like this like railroad track going, and then like hope
Yeah.
springing behind it. But I am scared for what is going to happen to these providers, these donors. I mean, on a personal level, I have a child starting college in a red state, and I am like, oh my God, a daughter. I'm like, if I will not be able to turn away any friends in need. And if someone is gonna one day come after me and they're gonna come find this clip, I will not turn away a woman in need.
Yeah.
Someone wants to come visit Auntie Dana. It's beautiful this time of year in Seattle. The mountains are lovely.
Yep.
Great hikes, fabulous restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my fucked up story. It's sort of disguised as a happy story, because not happy, but a positive one, because fuck yeah, Connecticut. I'm thrilled you're doing this. My hat is tipped to you. And also, we're doing this show in part to keep track over time of how things are deteriorating in the US, and that, we've hit the uterine railroad in year 2,
Yep.
and the trans railroad. I mean, I don't want to, the bigger story is there are far more women who need abortion than there are people who need gender affirming care, but
Yeah.
they're right there.
Right.
The
And it's the
trans
same
community,
story,
and it's the same
right? It's
story. The
part of the same
LGBT,
story.
yeah, the LGBTQ and women, our rights are intrinsically tied. They always have been.
Yeah.
So there's my mic drop. That's my fucked up Friday story. Lawrence, take it away.
All right. That was a really good one.
Thank you.
Uh, Here's mine.
Okay.
Back in 2014, a French meteorologist did a stunt video for the World Meteorological Organization where she taped a fake weather broadcast from the year 2050, from August of 2050. Pure science fiction, pure speculation.
Of
She
course.
wanted to create something, with the World Meteorological Organization to show how bad it could get in a hot summer in
Yes.
France, right?
Yes.
This
Okay.
week, 24 years early,
Yeah.
the
Oh
numbers
no.
got beaten. So France didn't just hit the nightmare numbers from 2050, it blew past them.
Yeah.
In 19 of the 34 spots across the country that she showed crazy, super high 2050 numbers for, they beat that number. In some places, they beat it by 20 degrees. So the future showed up a quarter century early. It was this past Wednesday, 2 days ago, 112.3 degrees in Paris. That's 44.3 degrees Celsius, hotter than the made up doomsday nap. Parts of France ran hotter than Phoenix or Vegas, and only just barely cooler than Death Valley, the hottest place on the North American continent. Um, except France runs on like vibes and white wine and open windows and not central air conditioning, unlike Vegas.
Right.
So Paris, here's a great fact. Paris has logged more days above 104 degrees Fahrenheit this week than in the entire 147 years from 1872 to 2019. 1 week beat a century and a half of data, and half of all French heat
Sure.
waves since 1947 have hit since just 2010 in the last 16 years.
Oh my
It was
God.
so hot. Paris
How
banned
hot was
takeaway
it?
alcohol so that people would stop drinking outside. It was so hot, people flocked to rivers and lakes, and 40 people drowned.
I
Wow.
saw that.
It's so hot they moved Pride to September. And the takeaway is all of the meteorologists, all the climate scientists looking at this and saying, this is not a fluke. This is just the new normal. So
And
there you
just the
go.
start.
This is climate change is real. We believe in science. It's really happening. It is literally happening in France this week. And it is a fucking disaster. We used to make disaster movies about this, and it's actually happening. So,
Also, they closed the Louvre and the Eiffel Tower
yes.
because it was too hot.
Yeah.
So if you
They
plan to
didn't
trip
sell
your summer,
alcohol
yeah,
in France.
right? Isn't that like the water supply in France?
Yeah, honestly, like, oh, no, no, we cannot sell you wine or champagne.
Um, right? And this is not the hardest part of it, but this is the start of their like super peak tourist season, I imagine. Like
Right.
summer just
Claudia in the
started.
chat is saying the Tour de France starts next week. Can you imagine?
No, 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 no. Oh, my chat crashed. Thanks. That just means you all are commenting a ton.
Right. Courtney is
Oh,
saying, and I know this is true of Washington as well, northern Colorado barely had a winter. They didn't get the snow that they
Right.
require annually for the snowpack for
yeah,
the water supply for the year. I know that is happening in Washington state right now as
yeah.
well. Like,
Lawrence, the Olympics don't really have snow on them anymore. So so when you live in Seattle, people think of us being on the Pacific Ocean, but we're not actually. We are all the way to the west in Washington, can, of the main part of Washington. There is a peninsula that comes out from south of Seattle and then continues up north toward Canada called the Olympic Peninsula. It is where Twilight takes place, famously.
just to
Um,
ground it for the
right.
chat
For
for
the chat, there's not a whole lot on the Olympic Peninsula. It's sort of like the outer rim of it has small cities, but the whole middle of it is a national park called Olympic National Park, and has a mountain range, the Olympic Mountains in it. They're beautiful. They're craggy and they are snow covered year round, except they're not anymore. I was at Golden Gardens with Libby Grant. I don't know if anyone saw
that was
our
amazing.
live on our spontaneous live Saturday night when I thought it was the solstice. We were a day early, and I was like, we have to go to Golden Gardens because Golden Gardens is a beach in North Seattle that looks at the Olympics. And on the solstice, people go there and light bonfires, and everybody screams as the sun sets behind the Olympics because it's looking west from such a western point, and we're so far north it doesn't happen till like 10. And if we were a day early, we still watched the sunset. It was beautiful, Lawrence. There's no snow on the mountains at all. And maybe I'm crazy, but wasn't there always snow year round on the Olympics?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've this
Yeah, a
next
couple
month
years
I'm
ago,
yeah,
there
sorry,
was
go
a
ahead.
heat wave in Seattle where Mount Rainier lost most of its snow. It was the scariest looking thing I have ever, like, it didn't lose it entirely because some of
Right.
that is glacier, but yeah, Mount Rainier lost so much of its snow that when you looked at it as a Seattleite, you were just like, that is
What
not
is
what that
happening?
mountain is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it is terrifying. Okay, I think we've covered this topic well, and I want to make sure Anne has time to give her fucked up Friday pitch. So Anne P. Mitchell Esquire, you have the floor.
Thank you. Well, so as you know, I am still pretty deep into the extant Epstein documents.
Yes.
And I have been going through day at a time the transcripts of Glenn Maxwell's trial.
Mm,
And there are a lot of them because it was a very long trial.
mm,
And on one of the days, one of the victims testified. And They call her Jane. I happen to know who it really was, but I am not going to, I'm going to call her Jane.
Yep.
And the defense was trying to make something of the fact that Jane had spoken with a reporter and only mentioned Epstein, not Maxwell, right? So they were trying to say, well, you only pointed the finger at Jeffrey Epstein. You didn't implicate Glenn Maxwell in the story that was ultimately printed by this reporter. And so I would like, with your permission, to actually read from the transcript because I think I can't give it more gravitas than that. So
Yeah. Do it.
this was redirect. So this is now the lawyer for the prosecution, for the government, back when we had a DOJ that actually was trying to protect people.
Mm.
Yes.
And she's asking Jane, when you spoke with that reporter, did that reporter threaten to reveal your identity publicly if you wouldn't speak with him? Yes. Is that why you spoke with the reporter? Yes. Did you make an agreement with the reporter in order to make sure your identity wasn't revealed? Yes. And what was that agreement? The agreement was to briefly discuss only how I had met Jeffrey Epstein. And in exchange for doing that, what did the reporter agree to do? He promised to keep my name anonymous. This reporter blackmailed an Epstein victim. In other words, if she did not give him the story, he was
Yeah.
going to publicly out her by name. And that is effed up even on the surface. But then also, this is what quote unquote reporters, journalists, this is what they sink to. On so many levels, this is so messed up. Here is this victim, and make
Yes.
no mistake, this was back when the Epstein story first broke. So this was fresh stuff for these victims. And this is a reporter for a major paper telling a victim, if you don't give me the story, I'm going to print your name.
Wow. The chat is bursting with people asking you to out this reporter.
I do not know at this point who it is.
Mm.
Oh,
I'm sure I could find out. But at that point, I couldn't stop and devote all the time to do that. Um,
wow.
However, I am sure that our citizen sleuths could probably fairly easily find it.
Yeah. Nice.
We need Ellie Leonard and Kate Justice on this case, is what I'm
Yep.
hearing loud
Yep.
and clear. Oh my gosh. That is so fucked up. And it's reminding me, I've seen Charlotte Clymer posting about this a lot, and her content is always um but the way that journalists, instead of actually reporting the news in the papers that are paying them to report the news, are
Oh yeah.
holding on to the news so that they can go get their huge signed book deal and then write a book about it after it's way too late to make an impact. Like,
Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan.
yes, it's gross. That's gross to hold on. Like, journalists behaving badly, I guess, is the common theme. These are two
Yeah.
different ways of journalists behaving badly, but it's that has come out this week as well. So
Well, and
Well,
there used to be journalistic ethics, right? Where
yeah,
an editor and a publisher of a paper would fire a journalist who did something like this.
yes.
Either of those things, either
yeah,
threatening, a witness or withholding material so they could publish a book. It used to be a fireable offense at a decent newspaper, and now it is just the standard.
yeah.
Well-behaved journalists don't generate clicks.
Exactly. Mhm.
They don't, and nor do they get $1 million book deals, which
Right.
pays a lot better than a journalist's salary, I would guess. So yeah, Walter Cronkite and Edward R. Murrow are rolling in their graves.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do feel like this is maybe a Gen X thing, Lawrence. I remember I was going to be a journalist. That's what I wanted to major in college. As editor of my high school paper. I don't want to brag, you guys. I'm kidding on the bragging front, but I feel like Gen X was the last generation to go to J school where there was this sort of sense of honor. And even then, I remember being like, I don't like the direction where the news is heading. I don't think I can do this. And that was
Can I?
1,000 years ago. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, actually, I'll save it.
Oh, you don't have to let it all out, Anne. If
Well,
you've
no,
got something.
because it's not on topic. It was actually going to end up like changing the topic. I'll say it in my outro.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Let's go ahead and vote. Let's do the vote. So again, folks, you are voting for the top story. Dana, give everyone a refresher of yours.
My refresher is the lovely story that the Connecticut state government has launched a private fund so that women in need of abortions and people in need of gender affirming care can travel to the state. This is not actually a feel good story. This is dystopian as fuck that we need like a uterine railway to get there. And the incredibly dismissive language being used to belittle this form of healthcare as if it is not important because straight white men don't need it.
Yep. All right. Hang on. I'm reaching around the cat to scroll because I just want to read something from the chat. Amy Gabrielle says in the chat, I love all three of you. I can't believe no one brought up the ICE protesters who were sentenced in federal court to decades in prison for being Antifa. You're right, Amy.
I,
Like, there's so much fucked up news. I almost picked that one. I had a really hard. I thought somebody else was going to pick it, and so I settled. Like, this is the shitty thing. Is
so I,
that the thing, Anne, that you were going to?
No, but I was just to briefly comment on that. It's important to remember that, in fact, shots were fired by one of the protesters, and they did hit one of the law enforcement there. I'm not
Oh,
justifying. I'm not justifying anything. I just want it. It's important because that's been getting lost in the talk about this. But also, and I have not had a chance to read the decision, and I may not be able to because it's trial level, so it doesn't have to be reported out.
Mhm.
But if it's true that they were actually that the decision cites Antifa, then they have a very, very good basis for appealing that because the very fact of doing that is saying you are being sentenced because of your thoughts, which, by the way, was the
yes.
very justification that Colorado governor gave for releasing Tina Peters early
Oh,
because she
Jesus.
had
Yeah.
been sentenced for her ideology. So, if it's true that the ideology came into the sentencing, then they will have a almost a slam dunk for appeal. I doubt that's actually true. I really doubt that they were sentenced, or at least that it was said. But I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. This is the advantage of having a lawyer here on the Daily Whatever show.
Yes.
Our house attorney always grounding us in reality. Thank you, Anne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're voting for mine, which is that France is breaking heat records 25 years earlier than we thought, put Lawrence in the chat. And Anne, remind us of yours again. If they're voting for Anne,
They're voting for a journalist, a reporter
mhm.
blackmailing an Epstein victim in order to get a story.
All right, so there you go. Put names in the chat. We've already seen some. I've already seen an early lead for Anne.
I have seen a lot of Lawrence and Anne. I have seen like one for me, I think, which thank you, Jane from Pittsburgh.
Right.
I actually liked,
I
and I'm not just reading Jane's because she voted for me, but she said, I'm voting for Dana with Lawrence as a close second. The Epstein story is fucked, but I'm looking at how many people are impacted. God, everything is so fucked. We're so fucked.
I just want to say I agree with the person who voted for Tycho.
Aw,
Oh,
I'll let him
That's
know.
kind of what he sounded like.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
Hey, actually, while we're doing the voting, could I say the thing I wanted to say? Because it's actually really
please.
yeah,
important.
absolutely.
It was actually speaking of trains because I think I coined the term ballot train. I just encourage everyone to do a ballot train, which means taking people who do not have a way to get to the ballot box, to the drop box, taking them to drop off their ballot. Do not collect their ballots. That would lead you to being possibly prosecuted for, election law violations. But take the people, let people know, because in some districts, there's only one drop box and it's hours away and people
Oh,
can't get to it
wow.
by public transport. So seriously, tell people, put it out on social media that you are willing to give rides to people to get them to the ballot box. It is so important. People sometimes, still think, well, my one vote won't make a difference. Just this week
Yes.
in Sioux Falls, there was a mayoral race that was decided by 2 votes. After the count, the actual count, it was that close. 2 votes. So please help get out the vote. It's so important. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that is a great point. It is funny having lived on the West Coast in a male voting state for so long, like hearing you say that, and now that I'm in Indiana where mail-in voting is not a thing, I'm like, or drive people to the polls on election day,
Yes.
or early voting,
Yep.
because drop boxes are not a thing here.
Yep.
You've got to actually go to the polls and vote.
So it's a
Yeah, I
ballot
can't even
train.
imagine
So
that.
Yeah,
Out
yeah.
here, I'm like, why would you need that? We just mail ours in.
Yeah.
Because I live in a weird
Oh, no, yeah,
utopia
don't
named
mail them in.
Washington.
Dana, don't mail them in. Drop them at a drop box.
Oh, I
I
usually
mean,
do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's another important point is that we really can't rely on the post office right now. That
yep,
decision came out earlier this week that they
Also
can't
fucked
mess
up.
with it. But yeah, also, well, the decision was not fucked up. It was a great decision from the court. But the Postmaster General is still saying that they're going to,
Yeah,
mess with it, and I'm sure
that's
that's
the
going to be
fucked up part.
challenged. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to end up being, challenged and voided in court. But still, don't take the chance. Go to the Dropbox.
yep.
Ugh, what a mess.
All right. I think we can declare that Anne was the winner. I've looked back at all the votes,
Oh,
and I think you
you like
won
me.
this
You
one.
really like me. I've never won this before, so I'm very sorry to have won, but also thank you.
It's the competition where no one wins because
Yes.
we all have to live in this reality. But it's easier if we all do it together. So we all
Exactly.
sort of win because yay community. You
All right.
guys,
Karen
what
says
a
Tycho
week.
was second. So,
Yeah, I'll
Tycho is
give that.
second. I
Kira
would
could be
concede to
third.
Tycho.
I
yeah.
think Kara got like 5 of these treat sticks on this show. She is a master of
She
manipulation. She knows I can't deal with the like
she
the
loves
whimpering.
Friday mornings.
She
Yes,
does.
she loves anytime I come and start talking like this, even when I do my I thought it was Lauren's voice, but even when I do my own lives for I Write Out Loud, she hears me using my podcasting voice and talking to the little box and she's like, I'm on it. Give me all your
Speak
treats.
Speaking of podcasting voices, and I know we've
Yeah.
discussed this publicly before, Lawrence, so I'm not telling tales out of school.
Hmm.
Have you moved further in your voiceover coursework?
I have done several more of the segments in the course, but I'm
Awesome.
not done yet.
No,
So,
you will never be done. Are you taking? Yeah, I mean, and David is just wonderful, especially if you do some of the live coaching with him. So,
yeah, I'm looking
um,
forward to doing this. Change Champion is asking, Anne, what was your Gen X song when we had you on the first time? What did you pick? I don't remember. Do you?
I don't remember either.
I was just thinking how we need to share Jason Odell's article at long last because he has a running story that keeps track of everyone's picks. Let's see if I can quickly find it and find yours. It might take me too long to do that. Gen X songs. Uh,
And
there it
Karen,
is.
yeah, Karen's
Oh, wait.
asking the course, and yeah, there's a course I took, and Lawrence is now taking a voiceover artist course that teaches you how to do voiceover work and voice artist work.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it's very awesome. And I've voiced an audiobook and I've voiced some commercials. And I'm sure that Lawrence, because he's got an amazing voice, so I'm sure he will have all the voice work he wants and then some.
Well, thank
Right.
you.
I found an article, but I don't think this is the right one. So we will have to go look back in the set list. And Lawrence, note to us, we are so long overdue to share Jason's amazing story that I cannot find on the fly. But
He says it's on his personal Substack.
oh, are you in the chat, Jason? I have not seen you here. Hi, you're on your rowing machine. Okay. Well, way to multitask and get your exercise and listen. I think anyhow, we will find it and we will share it. And we're at the top of the hour, and this has been an utter delight. And thank you for jumping in last minute.
Always a pleasure.
It is always a joy having you on the show. I always feel a little bit smarter, and I'm just smiling every time.
Tycho is here to claim his prize. Come on, buddy.
Yay! Aw. Oh,
He
Jason's
has
in
to like prance
Colorado.
back and forth in front of me like, Papa, Papa, I want to sit on your lap. And I'm like, I know, just come on, hurry it up.
Yeah, just get over here. I have not posted. So we're only on Fridays. I think you all know that for the summer. We are on our summer vacation. So 4 days a week we are not here. We are joining you for Fucked Up Friday every week. And I have behind the scenes been building out an amazing calendar. And I think later, by the end of the weekend, I think I'm going to post the coming week so you all can prepare for who's coming because we have so many guests. But I am going to sneak peek that next week we have Ayana Madrone joining us.
So excited about that.
I know she is amazing. And we have so many other good ones, y'all, but I'm not going to link them all now. You're going to have to wait. July and August they're going to be killer. So we will see you next week. I have my Sunday salon at 1 p.m.
Right. And are we on Saturdays for Sanity?
Oh, of course. Saturdays for Sanity. I knew I was forgetting something. Saturdays for Sanity on the Mayday Network with Julie Roginski and Michelle Kinney. We haven't talked to them yet, but are we going to both go on this week, Lawrence? I think it's your week, but I kind of want to be there too because I know
think
it's going to
my
be
week, but I also think Michelle might be out again this week. So I think it was supposed to be both of us anyway.
At any rate, tune in tomorrow morning, Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Right. One or both of us will be there.
Yes. And then Sunday, I will be live for the Sunday Salon on I Write Out Loud. And
Karen
on it
said,
goes.
"And Song is Smooth" by Santana.
Yeah. That's a
Very
frickin'
good.
sexy song. It is. Yeah, I don't know if you guys knew, but I was a dancer before I had to, start isolating. So, yeah, that's a great song.
It is. I am
Thank you,
not a Matchbox
Jason.
20 song. I'm not a Matchbox 20 fan, but Rob Thomas does such a good job with the vocal on that song. Him with Carlos Santana's
Yeah,
guitar
yeah,
work is,
yeah.
wow. I do like that one a lot.
It's a great song to dance to. And like I said, it's frickin' sexy. It's just like, wow. Yeah, love it. Love it. Thank you, Jason. And also I want to know where in Colorado you are, Jason, because I'm in Boulder.
Oh
I
yeah,
do.
we've got a whole Colorado contingent here. Somebody else
We
said they
really
were in
do.
Colorado as well.
Courtney is in
Yeah,
Colorado. One of the Courtneys. There's a couple of
one of the
Courtneys in there,
Courtneys. Yes,
but
we have several
yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
Courtneys.
The one who's not in Canada is in Colorado.
Oh,
As someone who just finally had my first meeting a Substack friend in real life last
Oh,
weekend.
Courtney's from Loveland, and Neuro is from Colorado
Colorado
Springs.
Springs. And so is Jason. Oh, you guys,
And
I'm so
Shayla
sorry.
will be there too. You all should totally have a meetup and you should live stream it
I
because
can't
Libby,
because,
oh, right.
isolation, medical isolation. But we could
Yes.
do a live. Yeah. A Colorado
Oh,
live.
sorry,
Wow.
Neuro. Neuro saying that they want to go see the Rockies. Not, I misunderstood.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
They were answering my
oh, got it,
question
got it.
that Jason's in Colorado um,
Oh,
Springs,
right. Yeah, Neuro's in Portland. That makes sense.
which is pretty much the most conservative area of Colorado you could be in. So, Jason,
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
sorry.
It's Dobson and the whole focus on the family
Mm-hmm.
shit, right?
Ugh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
ugh, no good.
All
All
right,
right.
everybody. Anne, thank you for being here.
Oh, it's
Chat, thank
always
you
my
for being here with
pleasure.
us. We love you. We will
Love
see you
you,
next
mean it,
week
Love you
and
guys.
everyone.
tomorrow.
Yep. Love you,
Love you, mean
mean
it.
it.
Bye.
I'm from New York City,
Mwah.
Amy. Okay. Bye.
Clicking the button, clicking the other button. Oh, no, we're about to